Welcome, everybody, to the NFL Presidential Address for Week 6. This is part 2, and we'll be talking about the San Francisco 49ers going into Cleveland, Seattle, and Cincinnati, New Orleans facing Houston, and the Carolina-Miami game. Before we get into that, I just want to make mention, check out show number 1. We've got Thursday Night Football on there, plus Baltimore, Tennessee, Washington, and Atlanta, and Minnesota against Chicago. Let's get straight into it, guys. San Fran versus Cleveland. And man, this is going to be a really, really interesting game to watch. It does look like perhaps Deshaun Watson will be out. We've seen a massive line move. It was -5. There are a few 7s out there. And a lot of 6.5s, and the total has kept dropping. We now have a 37 on the board. So before I get into it, let me start by saying this. I was excited about the San Fran-Dallas game last week. I thought to myself, Dallas has got this vaunted defense. Everybody's talking about how good their defense is. It'll be so interesting to see what they do against San Francisco. Look, San Francisco played Pittsburgh, put up 30 points. San Francisco played Dallas, put up, 700 points? There is no defense in the league that is going to stop this team. And I can't wait to see Cleveland try, because I think Cleveland has a better defense than both Pittsburgh and Dallas. This is one of those interesting matchups where we have an unstoppable offense going against an immovable defense. Which one is going to win? It makes the total so hard to bet, but I got something for you. This San Francisco team is the best team in football, period. I don't even think it's close. This offense is absolutely unstoppable, and they should keep rolling no matter who they play. With that said, they are now going to play one of the best D units in all of football, and I can't wait to watch it. Watching the game against Dallas, all I kept saying was, Purdy is ridiculous. His poise, his confidence, his ability to stretch the field, to throw long slants, his calm, his footwork. The guy doesn't make mistakes, not one interception. Everyone looks at him as this small little kid. Do you realize that he has the highest pass completion percentage in football on plays 10 yards or more? 73% pass completion. This guy ain't dinking and dunking. This offense is a machine. How about their D? Warner is a beast. Man, there's no holes on this whole team. Show me where San Fran has a hole. Their offensive line is ridiculous. San Fran has put up 30, 30, 30, 35, and 42 points this season. And yes, that's playing against good defenses. I think we see San Fran put up a bare minimum of 27 points. I don't understand how any team can stop them. I think Cleveland, they'll somehow find a way to 14 points, 20 points. Even without Deshaun Watson, I still think this game goes over because, frankly, it's 37. And I know that I tell you guys every week, always bet the lowest total under. San Fran has not scored less than 30 points all year. Assume they score 30 again. I think we could count on Cleveland to find one touchdown, 10 points, 14 points. How are we going to bet this game? Regretfully, we're going to take the over. And I know it's going to be close, and I know we're going to need Cleveland to find a way into that end zone. But I have faith in San Fran, and I think they could go over this number by themselves. Before we get into the Seattle-Cincinnati game, I want to make mention I have a promo up for all of you guys, and I know that this is an NFL football show, but NBA is starting in a few days, next week sometime, and I had a massive, massive season in the NBA last year. I had 93 units of profit, 93 units of profit in the NBA. My college basketball was 30 units of profit. And I have a promo code for you all. It's HOOPS100. That's HOOPS100. We have an early bird pricing special up now for both NBA and college basketball. You can get $100 off of that special by using that promo code HOOPS100. And for all you guys who took advantage of the $149 monthly promo code I gave out last week for NFL, you're all up double-digit units already. And I'm telling you guys, I'm going to have a giant hoop season. So please take advantage of that promo code HOOPS100. Let's turn our attention to Seattle and Cincinnati. Seattle, it finds themselves at plus 2.5. The over is 45. Whoops. A line move. Seattle is now plus 3. Let's get into this game. Finally, the Bengals looked like they were supposed to, and I grant you that was only against a very bad Cards team, and they really didn't create distance until late in the game, but at least the offense started to move the ball. Burrows was 36 for 46 with 317 yards in the air and a lot stand out there. First off, he completed 36 passes. Second, he threw the ball deep. And most importantly, he threw the ball 46 times. And they were never down in a situation in the second half where they had to make some kind of insane comeback. They easily could have run the ball. The only issue facing the Cincinnati team right now, the one issue, there's many issues facing this team, especially their O-line. But right now they're really struggling to stop the run. And this should really help Seattle. Seattle's got a good running game, and with the running game comes some big play action passes. So I think that Cincinnati's run D is going to help Seattle score some points. Seattle's the 6th highest team in scoring so far this year. They're averaging 28 points a game. Cincinnati has had their struggles, but it looks like they're back in sync now, and I think they should get us 28 points themselves against what I consider to be a very weak Seattle defense. Both these D units are currently in the bottom half of the league, and Seattle has the 3rd worst pass D in all of football. This line is baffling to me, and I think we see a game that goes well into the 50s. I also like Cincinnati in the spot, and although Seattle is coming off of a bye, we know the Cincinnati team can turn their season around fast. They did it last year, and they're coming into this game feeling good and in the hunt for the division and in need of a nice fat winning streak. Bottom line here, we're going to take over the total and Cincinnati -3. Keep in mind, folks, there's going to be heavy wind throughout the northeast of America on Sunday. That is why these totals are dropping, but keep dropping, and we're going to take advantage of that and jump right back in on the over. Now we turn our attention to New Orleans, -1.5 going into Houston. The total is 42.5. Let's get into it. We finally saw C.J. Stroud come down to earth this past week, and he still put up 249 yards in the air. The problem was they only scored 18 points, and 4 of their drives ended in field goals. The biggest weakness for the Texans right now is their pass D. Atlanta averaged 156 yards in the air a game until they met Houston. Then they put up over 300 yards. But the good news is they faced the Saints Sunday. The Saints couldn't put up 300 yards in the air if you spotted them 100 yards. Yeah, sure, they put up 34 points on New England Sunday. That wasn't because of some electric offense. The Saints have defined themselves. Nothing is more important for a professional bettor than understanding the definition of a team. Playing these teams that are inconsistent is problematic. Playing a team that does the same thing week in, week out, those are the teams we have to take advantage of. How have the Saints defined themselves? Keep the score low, sneak out wins. New Orleans has a terrible offense. And even though they put up a phony 34 against New England last week, before that they scored 9, 17, 20, and 16 points. I understand Houston is scoring. They have not played a D unit like this. The Saints are fourth in the league in points allowed, fourth in passing yards allowed, and top 10 in rush yards allowed. In order for this game to go over, someone has to put up 21 points. And frankly, 3 touchdowns against New Orleans is almost impossible in one game. And New Orleans scoring 3 touchdowns, well, that's freaking unheard of. Okay, they did it last week, but on a whole, it's unheard of. Let's absolutely not overthink this play. We're taking under the total of 42.5. Now we turn our attention to Carolina and Miami. The Panthers are a total mess, flat out. Their star signing of Miles Sanders has turned out to be a disaster. He came into the Detroit game averaging 2.9 yards a play. To give you perspective, that's almost the same amount as the push, tush, shush, push, mush, mush, kush, lush, whatever in Philadelphia. Oh my God. There are quarterbacks that fall over the line of scrimmage that gain more than 2.9 yards a play. He only put up 32 against Detroit, and he lost a fumble. Speaking of turnovers, the Panthers have given up 45 points this season on turnovers. Wow. 31 of them have come from Bryce Young. The best the Panthers have been able to do all year was when Andy Dalton played. And if I were them, I wouldn't play Andy Dalton. They got to give this season away and get Young out there, get him getting reps, getting experience, building his confidence, etc., etc. This season ain't happening for the Panthers. The biggest issue really is coaching. If your young QB is turning the ball over all the time, that's on you. You got to put him in position to succeed. Now they face Miami, and that means they will have to score. If you let the Lions put 42 on you, Miami should be able to put up 60. Although they won't, and will likely only put up somewhere in the 30s, how the hell are the Panthers going to keep pace? This Miami offense is all world. With Waddle and Hill leading the way, the Dolphins have found a run game to boot that is second to none. Devon and Mostert are ripping teams apart, and this is not good for the league. Granted, Devon is out this weekend, but I don't think it matters. I think this Miami team is going to run all day long and throw all day long. I frankly think they'll be able to name their score. How do you defend the run when it's that good? And you have Waddle and Hill to worry about? You just can't. And that's why Miami is averaging over 36 points a game. Let's bottom line this. Home faves laying 10 or more are gold when betting in the NFL. We saw Miami cover this number last week. We saw Detroit cover this number at minus 10 last week. Those big numbers don't scare me. Bottom line, guys, I'm going to take Miami minus the 13.5 against the Panthers. And an even better bet, Miami minus 7 in the first half. That's it for the show. I do want to make mention that I am 40-26 across all my NFL presidential shows this year. I'm extremely excited about that record. I'm impressed with myself. Pat on the back to the Prez. Make sure to check out part 3. We're going to look at the Patriots and Raiders, Atlanta and the Rams, and Philly against the Jets. Plus, I will have my weekly teaser for you all. Thanks for watching. Check out part 3.